Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Sam Quattro.
Hi.
We are very excited to get into She-Ra and the Princesses of Power Season 4, which dropped on Netflix on Tuesday. 13 episodes, a full-sized season that we're getting into of She-Ra. We've podcasted every season of She-Ra to date here at the Overly Animated Podcast. Find us at overlyanimated.com. Search for us on your favorite podcast app by searching She-Ra Overly Animated, or subscribe to us on YouTube and not miss any podcasts there at youtube.com/overlyanimated. This is our big season-long recap/reactions podcast. We're going to get into everything that happened this season at a high level. Make sure you've seen the season of She-Ra, all 13 episodes, because we're going to get into spoilers right away for this big season. Lots of spoilers here. Go binge it, come back, listen to the podcast afterwards. And then hopefully we'll have episode discussions as well later. So subscribe to not miss any of our She-Ra podcasts coming up here. Yes, big season, and they released it all at once, so no disclaimer needed on what the season consists of. This is the equivalent of there's like the third, fourth. Okay, it's just confusing.
The third, fourth.
Yes,
there you
the third,
go.
fourth. Yeah, and we're approaching the end, and a lot of big stuff happened. Delaney, get there's a lot, but we're not going to talk about it all in the beginning. So, what's the overall reactions?
I need a reminder.
Oh man,
I needed to cue them in why we're not getting into everything yet. It's because it's a lot to get into. But the big highlights and what was your emotions this season?
Oh, it just hurt. I don't even know. Like,
that's an emotion.
It's just like pain. Like the whole time it hurt. I think that's my main reaction.
I think it's everyone's reaction.
It's just physical and emotional pain. I really can't even be like, this is a great season, because it just hurt the whole time. So I'll figure it out as we go, but it just hurt.
Okay, good. You finished it today too, so you're especially.
Like, I am in physical pain like right now.
Okay, and somehow that's like a good thing in the She-Ra fandom. So it's like good people, the emotion people like expressing that they get from this show. Michelle, are you in pain from season 4 of She-Ra?
I'm in pain, but I will say one glimmer of hope, no pun intended, is Scorpia had such a good time. Scorpia had such a good time this season. I mean, not at the beginning, obviously, but now she's finally feeling herself, and she has like legit friends, and she's a princess, and she has cool powers. And now, I mean, everything kind of sucks because Horde Prime's here, and he seems a real sketch. But like, I'll take it as like the one positive thing. Yeah, I agree with Lee. Like, it's a painful season just because it sucks to see the friendship squad like fighting tooth and nail against each other for the vast majority. Like, that's not fun. It needed to happen for their characters and plot, but it's not fun to watch. I have so many thoughts about like Raz and Light Hope and Double Trouble, and I'm excited to talk about them more. But I mean, this was a solid season. It was not as fun as last season, but I think everything that happened this season was important, and so I'm still glad we got it.
Okay, that was a lot of topics you listed. So glad you have thoughts on a large portion of the season. Sam, what emotions did you experience watching She-Ra season 4?
Well, we all experience a wide variety of emotions at any given time, right?
It's a broad statement.
It was a broad statement for a broad question. I liked it a lot. I will say I did enjoy last season's just the punchiness of it. But you know what? It would go 3, 4, 2, 1 if I had to rank them. Anyway,
already a ranking just immediately.
Yeah, but
exactly.
3 and 2 are supposed to be one season, though.
All right. Well, who cares about that?
Netflix don't care, so who cares?
Yeah, Netflix don't care. I don't care. The thing I liked the most was all the emotional drama. I love interpersonal relationship drama so much.
It's like, give me the angst.
I love it. It's great. I especially love what was going on between Katra and Scorpia. Mm-hmm. I mean, Scorpia, like, we'll touch on Scorpia, but it was just like, I love it. And I love,
go girl!
I hate you.
I love the tension between Glimmer and Adora, and just, oh god, I just love it so much. I wish that next season could just be all therapy, or like everybody just like sits down and have like an honest talk about all their feelings.
It's the last 10
Even
chapters
Hordak.
of the fanfic. We need it.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. That's like my favorite thing in like fiction. Just people just like having feelings talks, and I just like it.
Yeah, Sam's living for the drama this season.
I love it. I love
good.
the drama.
Sam would.
Yeah, and I hate to break it to everyone. We have 13 episodes left. I don't think we're going to have time for therapy.
Yes, we will.
They need to pay Bo more. He doesn't get paid enough to deal with
Dylan,
it.
do you know for sure?
Yes,
there's only
it's definitely only
left?
13 left. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
That's the
Annie
third,
is
fourth,
not happy.
so there's one more 13. I mean, we don't know if Netflix will release it as 6 and 7 or just the full 13, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we're getting right into the end, and I think accordingly, this was the biggest season to date of She-Ra. I think it is the best season.
Season of She-Ra.
Season of She-Ra. Yeah, no, I think it's the best season. I think that's clear to me. The first half is pretty slow and the season took a while to get going. But there's still good stuff in the first half, and then the second half has a lot of great heights. I think the mythology this season's the best it's been. Like, just because everything, they finally did a lot of stuff with it. Yeah, we got answers. So I think it was definitely the most successful. I think this season has one of my favorite episodes of the show, Hero, which gets into the Mara and Raz, the double, the past and present flight. Yeah, I think that's a great episode. That's my pick for the best of the season. I think this is the season has the best season finale, the 2-part finale. I think the show's done varying degrees of success with season finales before, and I think that continues here because I don't think it's like amazing, but I think it's like the most successful in like a lot of crazy stuff happening, and it's really exciting, and so I enjoyed that. So high on the season, a lot of really interesting stuff happened. I mean, this is like, you know, I like happy stuff, and this is very sad season, so I struggle with that, but, you know, it's okay. You know, I love Glimmer, and this is Glimmer angst season, so, you know, we'll talk about that.
I don't even know if angst is the right word. It's like, oh god. Like, it's just the yikes season.
Yeah,
Yikes.
it's Glimmer yikes.
That's just what the show does with characters, right? Like, not Bo, I guess. Bo's been fine.
He's too pure. You can't do anything to Bo. He thought he was the traitor on accident.
Oh my god.
I have to say,
he's crying about it. He's the best. I love him.
We don't need to get into it right away, but I have to say, looking back on the season, I really like what we did with Katra. I'm not the biggest Katra stan, but this is like like, I've always been impressed by how the show handles Katra, and like the sequence of getting Katra to break down this season, I think, was very successful, coming off of her opening the portal and then just kind of like shoving all that behind her, and then it catches up with her and she loses everyone. And now I'm very intrigued by where she is heading into the last season and what we're going to do.
To be fair, I would say Catra's broken down every season. It just gets worse and worse.
This is the special breakdown.
Well, special breakdown. My fiance's like, I thought we hit rock bottom. And then we watched a new episode, and she's like, I thought we hit rock bottom.
The bottom keeps falling down.
Yeah, I think.
Where is it? Where's rock bottom?
So I think last season we talked about how we thought that was Catra's rock bottom, at least in terms of action, like her actions, like that was the worst thing she did. But it didn't catch up with her, like, and I think that's fair. It's like she didn't understand what she did was terrible, and it started to catch up with their season. So then eventually this season we get her, like, her view of herself at rock bottom. So I think that's what's needed for her to finally change, and she takes by far her most morally positive action on the world at the end of the season. So maybe there's hope yet for Katra. We'll discuss. How about that?
What action are you talking about? Is it not letting him kill Glimmer?
Katra saves the planet.
But she's saving herself too, because she immediately says like,
right.
"Oh,
it's
you need me." So she's still got an angle,
right? So it's like she saves everything by like bringing up the weapon, but it's done in her like slimy power grabbing type of way.
It's like in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, why are you saving the universe? Because I live in it.
She also saves herself. Yeah, so that's
the only thing.
Well, I think it's like pretty interesting to throw that at the end there, because it's like, oh, is this a sign that after Katra's breakdown she's going to improve, or is this just her being selfish? It's pretty ambiguous.
Yeah, because it's like 30 seconds after she straight up tried to murder Hordak. So like, I don't know.
I thought she killed Hordak.
I thought he was dead.
He was breathing. He's fine.
No, you saw him breathing.
Fine, but he's not dead.
I mean, we do kill Hordak this season, basically, so we'll talk about that.
I think it's hard.
I can't wait for them to have to be like, Hordak, we need you to help us defeat Hordak Prime. Like, I can't wait for that interaction.
We have to get his memories back. We'll do that. Okay.
It's just reconditioning him.
Yeah, his memories.
Like, I wasn't mentally prepared for him to just straight up be like, nope, bye, and just, like, stab him. I was like, okay, rip, Hordak.
Yes, yeah. Sad. Everyone's favorite character, Hordak.
Sure.
Actually,
he's
kind
a
of
great villain, though. I love him.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna. I was gonna ask Delaney to compare it to Voltron, but no. Okay.
No, don't do this. No, okay. As soon as
I actually think the season is very Voltron. But,
no, literally, once the season ended, I was like, great, it's Voltron.
It's really a really Voltron ending. Delaney, give me your highlight of the season. What's one thing you loved or you reacted to most from the season?
This is really hard. Okay, I mean, everything Double Trouble does is like...
Okay, Double Trouble?
Yes.
I think it's Double Trouble. I don't know, like this, honestly, that's the thing. This season is so good. I do agree that I really liked Hero. Like, just like episode, one, Madame Raz is so great. But I think it's Double Trouble. Like, it was...
What did you like about Double Trouble?
Well, so I really like it when shows trick me.
There's like, a lot of that going on, yeah.
And like the thing was, like, I bought it every time. Like, the thing was, so my fiance Tanya, she got spoiled, and so we're watching the episode. And I didn't realize that she was trying to she wasn't trying to spoil me, but she was like bitter. So we're watching the episode, and I didn't know this yet. But, like, so I'm watching Flutterina, and then she's like, isn't she kind of sketchy? And I was like, what are you talking about? And then, like, we're just watching, and she would say stuff like that. And then at the end, I was like, oh my God! Like, I was, like, flipping out. Because I didn't realize that, like, or I think I figured it out, like, right before. There's another one where I was like, oh, it's Double Trouble. And Tanya's like, you're dumb. Like, obviously. So I think that was what I really liked, like, Double Trouble, like, not only, like, so when they introduced, like, you know, you see on Twitter, they introduced Double Trouble, I was like, okay, cool, we're probably going to see them for, like, I don't know, like, 30 seconds or whatever. I didn't anticipate, like, they were going to be, like, the major character in this season. So I was really impressed with everything that, like, Double Trouble's character is just amazing. It's, like, it's like Peridot in Steven Universe, except Peridot makes me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside, and I want to strangle Double Trouble. So,
evil Peridot.
Yes, and also I wasn't ready either. Like when they switched back, like when they switched again. Like I knew that was like in the original show, like they were a double agent, but But this was like, I don't know. I think it's everything Double Trouble.
Okay, yeah, and we'll get more into Double Trouble.
And of course, anytime Scorpia opens her mouth, it's a dream.
Okay, I think you're stealing someone else's here, but Sam, give us the Scorpia. I assume that's your favorite part of the season.
Obviously.
Well, obviously it is. So the Scorpia, was it a redemption arc? Or is it? I don't remember exactly what my wording was in the past for it. But her going to the good side has finally happened.
Yay!
Rejoice. You know, is bound to happen. I
had to pause when she was at the table.
Yeah, it was such a shock.
I was like, did I miss something? Yeah.
I literally was so nonchalant about it, sitting there.
What? Like, I turned to Danny, I was like, what just happened? Like, I had to pause a lot watching these episodes, but I was like, what?
I think the big thing about Scorpia is that she learns to stand up for herself, and like she calls Katra a bad friend and learns to realize, maybe the love that I'm giving isn't being given back to me, and I deserve better than that. And I deserve.
I'm glad she figured that out. It took me like several months of therapy to figure that out. Like, good on Scorpia.
People around me that love me, and then Trapta loves her, and she's like, I gotta get Trapta back, and like, she's just on her own personal journey, and I love Scorpia so much, and
okay.
Strong agree.
Yeah. Michelle, what's a non-Scorpia thing you love from the season?
You can't do that to her.
Let her talk.
I want to half talk about Scorpia and half talk about White Hope.
Okay.
Scorpia first. The thing
are you going to connect them?
Oh, just hold on, Dylan.
Okay, we'll see.
The thing I really like about Scorpia is, like, I feel like, especially her relationship with Katra, I always kind of wondered initially, like, why does she think Katra's so great? Like, is Katra giving her a reason to think she's this great? And I think the thing that finally occurred to me this season was
she's gay.
No,
I don't know, like, what are other reasons?
So let me lay it down. Scorpia's whole thing is she is a very optimistic person. When she looks at Katra, she isn't necessarily seeing Katra for what Katra really is. She's seeing her for like what she could be in her best form, which explains why whenever Katra does something that's kind of shady, she's like, oh, this is obviously what she meant, or like, I know she'll come around and be this other person. Like, she's seeing Katra in the best possible way she could. She sees all the good potential Katra might have had. And this is the season when she's finally confronted with the face of like what Katra actually is and what her actions actually are. And it's not optimistic. It's actually really sad. Yeah. And it's not good for her. And like Sam was saying, like, she's taking this huge step to be like, you know what? This is not good for me. Like, this person is not who I thought they were. And me realizing
Katra was just like grumpy at first. Like, she's just grumpy. And then it was like, oh, she's evil.
Like, that's the other half of it. Like, I think at this point for Katra, Scorpia reminds her of her biggest regret, opening that portal, and that's why she's trying extra hard to push her away. So, like, that's, like, another really sad thing, but, like, I think, honestly, in some ways, that's the push Scorpia needed to get out of there.
Yeah.
Because she wants a better life, and she's finally getting a taste of it. She was so happy with the princesses, and they welcomed her pretty soon. Like, they put her in hashtag for a second, and then they're already making friends with her. So,
that was cracking me up.
Very happy with Scorpia right now. Oh, so Light Hope thing. This is the best thing they could have done with Light Hope, you guys, because, like, from the beginning, I was like, Light Hope is sketchy, but the thing is,
but she was.
No, this is half true. Light Hope was built by the Ethereans to make the weapon and channel She-Ra, but she became best friends with Mara, and it's that whole, like, the robot doesn't have a heart, but she kind of does, and Mara was her best friend, and she loved her, and then she got reprogrammed, and she kind of shut all those memories off, except for that one memory, and I love this so much, because it's like, it gives Light Hope, like, a little glimmer of goodness into, like, a very, like, otherwise sketchy, cold, kind of evil hologram character, the one we'd assumed she was. And it's just so good, because, like, it's you kind of feel bad for her, because you can see her struggle in a handful of these episodes, and even at the very end, when Adora's about to destroy the sword, and Light Hope's, like, fighting against her reprogramming and her old programming that still was Mara, and she eventually just, like, do it. And then she thanks her! She thanks her at the end! Because she gets to, her awful job is done, and Adora helped kind of free her, and it's just so good. And I'm just really happy, because it's like, this was the Light Hope backstory I needed to, like, understand what was going on with her, and now it makes crystal clear sense, and I, like, feel really sad, but, like, yeah, she got a little redemption too. Go her, sort of.
Yeah, Light Hope redemption. There's a lot of She-Ra puns in there that you unintentionally put in there.
There really were a lot. Like,
Crystal in it.
I was whispering them.
It's crazy. How is that not intentional? Made by the first ones, and with the Mara, the Light Hope stuff was really adorable.
God, everything is just gay in the show, man.
Oh, you think Light Hope and Mara are gay? Yeah.
Best friend.
I mean, friend in the show means
it's okay when you come to visit me. Gay.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, it's her best part of the day is when Mara visits her.
I will say, other than having a non-binary character, obviously the show is, like, gay, but I'm also getting a little tired of, like, no gay.
I mean, this is that's a run over a topic.
Smooched each other, didn't they?
We had one of our most explicit moments with Spinrella and Natasha. But
yes,
there's still tertiary characters.
There's been a lot of complaints that our only explicit gay characters haven't been around, and they were, like, all up in the first couple episodes. I was about it. They're adorable. Also, when they were, like, competing, it was so good.
14.
The much requested Spinrella and Natasha season. Yeah. They were in the first 2 episodes. That was good. My favorite thing about the season was Swift wins.
You're lying.
Why did you not say that? Take it back.
Yeah, I'm kidding. It's obviously not. Although he was very inoffensive this season, I would say.
I was about to say he was much more tolerable.
He was just there the entire time.
Also, Seahawk was barely in the season. Thank God.
Okay, don't even my My husband Seahawk was wonderful this season.
I want you to know that my fiance just glared at me. Like, I mean, it's like full on and being glared at because I said that.
Because okay, thank you. Because the Seahawk supporters stick together. No, he was great, at least in a few episodes he was in. Okay, here's a random thing I love about this season: the mythology that was presented. So I praise the mythology this season compared to other seasons. I still don't think that's like She-Ra's strong point. It was much better this season, but the concept of like the fact that She-Ra like is the sword, and the sword, or the first one's made the sword to control She-Ra, who's a native element to Etheria. I think that's like really interesting to me.
Yes.
Basically, what I think is like without the first ones, She-Ra is the avatar on Etheria, and this is like colonizing the avatar world, and they're like enslaving the avatar. The first ones when they're coming.
It's like in superhero stuff where they like have like a collar. Usually, like, I think, did they do this in one of the major movies? I don't remember, but, like, they, like,
there's a lot of collars in Young Justice.
In Young Justice. Yeah, like, a lot of times, in a lot of, like, superhero comics, it's some sort of collar that, restrains their power.
But yeah, I just was thinking about that a lot during a lot of these episodes, that this is like colonialism in the Avatar world, and like that concept's super interesting. I think the season did a little bit with that. I'd like even love if it got into it more next season, but at the very least, this is like the most intriguing.
Well, and we kind of got into it too when Glimmer's talking to Hordak Prime.
I think the Hordak Prime could be Horde Prime could be angle into this.
I keep forgetting that his name's Horde Prime. He's Hordak. I don't know.
It's pretty confusing. Why is he Hordak? Why is he Horde Prime? Okay. So there you go.
Well, it's because he made up his own name.
I know that was a big no. That was
that got him killed. That's what happened.
Yeah. Okay. What do we? I mean, we've talked a lot about a lot of things. I always capitulate to the Catradora fans. Let's get back to Katra and Katra. Well, in terms of Catradora, they interacted literally one time this season.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
Most of their interactions were fake. Like the on-screen interactions were not actually Katra and Adora.
There was you thought there was one, and then it was like no, and then they do interact the next episode. But I thought it's so interesting that Katra goes through so much strife this season, and like very little of it is related directly to Adora,
which I think is. It's not good, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is good. It's
and also having someone else complain. Like it was kind of like shocking a little bit when Lonnie was like, Adora left us. I was like, I didn't realize y'all cared that much. Okay, go off, I guess. Like,
go off. I think she's buying into the Katra rhetoric there, but they would be hurt too by Adora leaving.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Also, Kyle got like character development.
I know.
Yeah,
even Kyle got character development.
I could have made the Swiftwind joke about Kyle too, but
you really should have.
He loves his friend.
Kyle got a whole B plot to him. Your mileage may vary, but that was good. But yeah, it was certainly something. And the Katra. How did we go from Kyle to Katra? Okay, so
This is what happened.
Let's bring it back.
Okay, here's my summary that I wrote down of Katra's arc this season. So she gains the most power she ever has this season. She's still number 2 to Hordak, but is at times basically just usurping him. And
she's bullying him the whole time.
Basically bullying him.
She's on top.
If not,
shut up,
Sam, come on. I rated it. And then she's not technically leading, but she is mostly controlling. And then she kind of starts breaking down when Scorpia leaves her.
That was a big, I thought that was a really good.
I gotta say, one of my favorite things this season was the episode where Katra is trying to radio Scorpia and talk to her, and she's not there.
I know. I was like, oh, and then it just kept going. And I was
looking
like,
for Scorpia.
Yes.
She's hallucinating seeing her in the forest, but it's just branches.
Oh, it was messed up.
That was the most sympathetic Katra's ever been, I think. Although you could argue the early season 2 with Shadow Weaver, but
I feel bad for her. But then I'm also like, you're a terrible person.
Right, like, you did this yourself, but it's still sad. And she does have that line where she's like, when she's talking to Lonnie, she's like, if everything was fine, Scorpia would be here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the first things that really kind of wakes her up to what she's actually doing.
Yeah, Scorpia is the person that's always by her side. It's no matter how terrible she is, and she lashes out at Scorpia again this season, and Scorpia finally leaves her, and she just doesn't know how to handle that. Everyone is kind of finally gone here. And so then she's fighting Hordak, and then Double Trouble comes in and just basically breaks her down with this very objective analysis of
it's not, they're not breaking her down to be mean. The thing I really like about Double Trouble is, like, again, Double Trouble, like Hope, like Hordak, the show is giving us, like, a little bit of why they're not just making them bad for the sake of being bad, because there are moments throughout the season where Double Trouble's trying to figure out Katra, and, like, you know, because they'll be like, oh, like, aren't you having fun? And Katra's all business. And Double Trouble keeps trying to, like, see if Katra will find joy in, like, the evil stuff they're doing, because that's what they're all about. That's what they love about doing what they do. And at the end, I think they honestly took the time to give Katra a wake-up call, because they're like, look, your heart's not in this. You want to be bad, but you're not bad. And you need to realize that, and it hurts to hear it probably, but, like, it's the truth, and it's kind of for your own good.
Yeah, I don't know if they said you're not bad, but telling off Katra is not a bad thing in my eyes. So that was not a negative.
It's a wake-up call, honestly.
Yeah. And that was, like, the first time I feel like that anyone's really addressed Katra as has needed to have been. It's like, for me, that was like, wow, speaking for me and people frustrated with Katra, which even Katra fans, I think, frustrated with Katra, right? Like, you want Katra to do better. So that was you think it's everyone, but you're the problems. That's, like, I think a pretty big scene with Katra.
That was intense.
It was intense.
Yeah. And then at the end, Katra recovers enough to take this action to at least save herself, if not everyone. I think that's really interesting. Glimmer also confronts her, like, where's she? Michelle? Where's Katra at the end of the season?
I mean, I think there's absolutely a chance she might come around, but I think it took her. This might honestly have been her lowest point. So now she is open to the greatest change. I do think there's at least an 80% chance she's going to tag team with Glimmer for part of next season. Maybe not all of it, but for the immediate plot, absolutely. She's like, what? That's the thing. I also think it's easier for Katra to work with Glimmer than Adora. Like, Adora's the one person to be hardest to work with. But Glimmer, like, she doesn't have as much beef with Glimmer, so I could totally see them working together.
Yeah. Sam, are you optimistic for Katra next season?
I am back and forth. Because, like, okay, when she was just, like, laying there, like, it doesn't matter. I was like, okay, well, I can see some, like, turning around from that. But then she was like, oh, Horde Prime, I'm the one that you want to, like, talk to about this, that, and the other. I don't know about that. I think it's possible. I don't think that they're gonna kill her or any other desperate measure to get redemption for her, but I don't know. It's hard because she isn't quite as sympathetic. Not sympathetic. That's not the right word. She's not quite as, I would say, soft-hearted or has, like, more of the moral compass that, say, Zuko would have. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That led to, like, his redemption.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like, she is very sympathetic, and, like, you do feel for her, and you do understand where she's coming from, and people want to see her do good. And, like, Scorpia, I want to believe in her, and I want to believe that she can be a good person and fight for good and lead, like, a good life that isn't evil, but I guess we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think for the first time I'm at least a little bullish on Katra in terms of her turning things around. I think this is the first time in the series when you really start to think it's going to happen. That being said, I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to start standing Katra, but, like, this is she's finally, in order for someone to change, they need to at least understand that they're terrible. I think she did finally. So
at her lowest point, we are open to the greatest.
Yeah, that's literally what I said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
it's still my quote on Skype. So
good. That's just because you never go on Skype, but that's okay.
That's true.
This is. Katra's trending in the right direction. That being said, I think if you were to plot out the Katra redemption arc, I don't think this is where we would be at the 75%. Like, we're late in the game here. Like, are we really going to fully redeem Katra in 13 episodes? Are we really going to get Katra and Adora together in 13 episodes?
Hang on, Dylan. Fully redeem can mean many things. It can literally just means that she starts helping out the good guys. It doesn't mean she has to be like pals with Adora. You know,
right? I think so. I think instead, right? That's my point. Instead of like Coucher's a good guy, she's fighting for the rebellion. Like instead of that, I don't think that's where we're headed. There's not enough time left.
Well,
it's some more cynic. The shows can be very dramatic or cynical or however you want to look. It's some that version of a traditional redemption arc.
Well, I think her redemption arc is just Katra understanding that Adora leaving was not her fault.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's literally the only thing Katra, for a full redemption arc, Katra needs to understand that her actions have consequences, and people don't just do things to her. That's a good point, and
she's at a point where she could realize that.
But also, Adora leaving doesn't have anything to do with Katra, and it was up to Adora. Like, it was Adora's choice.
Yeah, and I kind of, for the first time, believe she could think that within a few episodes.
Yes, I think that because I don't think they can be friends again. They are not. And I talked about this.
You're out on Katra happening, Delaney.
Yes, because the thing was, like, obviously it's great to ship them together. I don't ship them, but I understand the appeal. Again, I'm being glared at from the right. So we have arguments all the time. She ships Katradora, I ship Glimmador. It gets very intense. We just yell at each other. It's awesome. But like, Adora is a good person. Katra is not a good person, and that's fine. You can like Katra. She's not a good person. Like there is no there are no ifs or ands or anything.
I don't think the show thinks it's that simple. We'll get into that with Glimmer in a second.
Well, I'm not well, that's the other thing that's interesting with Glimmer. Like, of course, that's another thing we'll talk about, because I just I'm out on Katradora because, again, we have brought Katra so low, and I do not think even saving theoretically, right now, she saved the universe, at this moment. She literally stopped them from blowing up the planet. But she also is the reason all this is happening now.
Yeah, arguably.
That's the other point, right? For Katra to get to a redemptive place, she needs to actively try to work with everyone that she burned bridges with. I think that's the much harder work.
So do you think she can work with Adora, Michelle?
Katra, that is the last person.
I don't know if they can even have a
conversation.
She
has to work with Lonnie and Kyle and them. Then she's going to have to work with Scorpia. Then she's going to have to work with Hordak. And then the last people are going to be the princesses and Adora. But I feel like if she does have 13 episodes, I feel like it's possible that if she just starts rebuilding all those relationships and admitting she was wrong and actively trying to be a better person, I would believe it. Honestly.
Well, if we can just get to the point where honestly, let's say Katra and Glimmer begin to realize they have more in common than they thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do. They have a lot in common. They are both people who will do whatever it takes to do what it is they want.
Yes.
And, so I think they're going to be not necessarily friends, but definitely allies. And then,
at least for the time being.
At least for the time being, because they have to survive.
Glimmer could be a great influence on Katra, hopefully. Yeah.
But then I think, honestly, we're the only point it's real. I couldn't even imagine where we are now with Katra. It was very difficult at the end of last season to imagine any sort of redemption. And now there are some glimpses of redemption. But again, we're at the bottom. We are still at the bottom. She's just really sad and is beginning to understand that she messed up, but I still don't know if she knows. But I think where I'm seeing us going now would be if Adora and Katra can just be in the same room as each other, that would be a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's a good point that she, other than her action at the end of the season, she hasn't started to make amends or do anything. No. She's just internally, she
failed.
Starting to turn around.
She had
failed, but she hasn't. Yeah, she hasn't really turned around yet. It's a good point,
and she doesn't care. She's literally.
I think she might.
She might care, but yeah. I mean, it depends on where she goes from here, right?
Well, again, I will say that she cares about Scorpia and about Adora. But it's also this very twisted,
yeah.
Because I'm not saying, when people will talk and argue, horrible things have happened to Katra. I agree with that. But your experiences don't give you the right to be a terrible person.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. And we don't
That's
even
why we need a therapy episode.
Yeah, we'll see.
All of these characters need therapy, yes.
So we do have 13 episodes with Katra, but also have only 13 episodes. In terms of Katradora, I mean, I know it wasn't a big part of the season, but like, I've been like beating the drum on this podcast. Like, I think the show's intent is Katradora. I don't ship it either. I ship Glimmadora, but I think the show's like, this is the main thing of the dynamic of the show. I think this is like where the show is going.
Well, in
but
that case, it's a misstep for this season then.
But they haven't. I think this is like the season to get Katra like without a door. I think it's like purposeful. But I also like. I don't know. I think for the first time, I don't think there will be an explicit romantic ending with Katradora. I don't think we have enough time, and I don't believe the show wants to do that anymore. Just not that the show doesn't want to do Katra and Adora. I don't believe the show wants to do romance, which I should have realized earlier because there's just almost no romance in the show.
Right. So you mean we'll get no Glimmer Adora?
Well, I don't think we're ever getting that, but this season was that. Get to that in a sec. This was the Glimmadora season.
It was.
I was gonna say it seemed like the Glimmadora season.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm a lot of people were like jumping ship on Katradora after last season. I feel like this season it's like not like emotionally jumping ship on that. I'm just like, are we really doing that? Like, we don't have a lot of time. But it would. I mean, I would welcome any explicit. Queer romance.
No matter how terrible.
I gotta say, I think I might prefer the Katradora explicit ending to no explicit queer romance in the show.
We've already had explicit
again, we've spin around the test with the main characters. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. So Katra goes through all her stuff and then goes back to Scorpia. And Scorpia's like, I don't know. But then like they learn to like, be good with each other, and then they fall in love and they kiss and it's happy.
I mean,
that's
in the future.
This is a big ship too, so you're still on the Cat Pia ship. So.
It's a terrible ship name. Why is it?
I mean, not really. I just want Scorpia to be happy.
Yeah.
I guess Scorpia
wouldn't it be bad for Scorpia? Like she's starting to learn to be happy without. She's starting to learn to be happy without Katra. Shouldn't she not go back to Katra?
Yeah, but like they can grow as people separately.
It's like one of those where you both need to figure out your lives before you get together.
God, that's my fantasy, Dylan.
How about a flash forward epilogue and then get together 10 years later?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm dreaming about this flash forward, and it's Katra and Scorpia and Glimmer and her royal consort Adora.
Yeah, I mean that would be the dream.
That's what I want.
Doesn't that just like not feel like what the show is going to do? No. Like the show's never done anything.
Okay,
like
also like this whole season, like while Glimmer and Adora are being super mega gay, they're like friendship, but I'm like, you're so gay.
Okay,
like,
let's talk Glimmer and Adora because that's kind of the next big element of the season. So we can start with just Glimmer. We're billing this as the Dark Glimmer season, the dimmer season.
I'm mad.
It wasn't quite that.
Well, so that's my question. How about Glimmer Stan Delaney? Was this the Dark Glimmer season you imagined?
Not what I imagined, but I'm happy with it because, like, this isn't like, which I was afraid. I was like, what if they just do full-on evil Glimmer? Like, how is that even going to work? And, like, that's the thing. Glimmer made bad decisions, but the thing was she wasn't doing anything bad. Like, there were a couple of moments where I do think, like, I think that was what was so effective about this season with Glimmer and Adora arguing. It was that they were both, like, right. Because, I mean, there were times where I was like, Glimmer, please just calm down. But then Adora is super pushy. So, and also, Glimmer was being ganged up on by Bo and Adora. But Glimmer was wrong. I agree with them. But, there are parts here and there where it's like, this isn't a completely one-sided, like, usually you watch a show and one character is, like, horrifically in the wrong and the other one's not. And it's like, this isn't very compelling and you just, like, yell at the one character. I'm yelling at all the characters in the season because they're all dumb. And I love them, but they're all dumb. So I think, like, that's the thing. Glimmer, she makes bad decisions and she's stubborn and she just wants to prove herself. And she's grieving her mom, and she feels alone, and her major influence is Shadow Weaver, which is, like, the worst thing ever. But at the same time, Shadow Weaver is, like, nice, but she's super sketchy, so it's like, I don't know. So I think, like, Glimmer, you shouldn't do, like, there is no, like, it's hard to justify the I'll do whatever it takes, like, state of mind to do things, because, like, that's how people get hurt. But the difference between Glimmer and Katra, now we can argue that what Glimmer did, like, so what did Glimmer do? She went to Light Hope after she told Adora, like, after they argued and Adora told her not to. And, you know, this is kind of a big deal simply because Adora is She-Ra. Like, I think this was a big betrayal for Glimmer and Adora. And Glimmer...
I mean, Adora betrayed her first, though. She gave an explicit order as queen.
Yes, I agree. But at the same time, Glimmer was abusing her power. So, you know, she was like, I'm right, even though you don't agree with me, but because I am the queen, I'm going to do whatever I want. Like, that was not okay. Like, she did it through her friends. Like, that was, like, a bad friend move. But they did disobey a direct order. But, so, Glimmer goes behind their back, and now, but the thing is, all the princesses agree, like, because the main argument was, like, Glimmer, Bow, and all them. But they were like, yeah, power. So, Glimmer does hurt the princesses when, the, like, whatever we're going to call it begins, like, the draining or whatever, you know, when the planet goes off. So they all start to hurt, and, like, that was obviously Glimmer's fault. But no one ultimately got hurt because of what Glimmer did. Only because Adora saved them all. But
yeah, it feels like a minor distinction versus.
I agree.
I think I guess, to be fair, they also don't get hurt from Katra opening the portal. Yeah. So regardless, it sounds like you weren't watching the season thinking like, oh, Adora's right, Glimmer's wrong. You're like, oh, this is like a messy situation, and both are right and wrong.
Yes, because that was the thing. Because, like, again, like, Glimmer, I don't agree with things Glimmer did, but it's not like she would, like again, the thing is, like, part of it's also Glimmer's not mean to people. Katra's, like, cruel. And Glimmer, now, I do think Glimmer's not necessarily the best queen. And she was a little annoying in the beginning of the season, whining that she didn't get to go out. And I'm like, you're the queen.
Oh my God, Mom.
That is, right? That is the other thing. Like, she can do whatever she wants. And, I don't know. It's messy, and I think that's what I like about it. Like, this isn't a very clean cut.
Okay, you like that it was messy. I think that's the show too. So that's good.
Yes.
So it's like messy. Again, Michelle, it sounds like you also had a similar reaction watching Delaney, where it's not like you were like, Dora's right. It's like,
oh no. Yeah. I mean, they're both. I think one thing the show did this season really well is it gave the believability that everyone is just trying their best. And I think the thing that really hit me since the coronation episode is like, so the only other, like, parent who's been making decisions in the show is gone now. So now all the teenagers are running around trying to do everything.
They're all in charge.
And that is so much pressure. Of course they're gonna crack and be stressed out, and it might turn. Yeah, and they're losing, and that's extra stress. And they got, like, Flutterina Double Trouble in their ear, making them second guess each other every time. Yeah. Like, I think it's interesting that they catch Double Trouble halfway through, and the drama only gets worse between those three. So clearly there was already stuff going on, and there's enough to continue it to a breaking point. So, yeah, I agree with Delaney. It's just, like, it's believably sad that they all think they, like, have the best in mind, but they're desperate in different ways, and they're not listening to each other, and that breeds resentment, and then just taking matters into their own hands. I mean, Adora and Bo took matters into their own hands the same way Glimmer was, for opposite goals, but I mean, they both decided that they knew best. To what ends? So it's just messy, and I like that. I like that there is no obvious right or wrong, because that's like, yeah, that's real life. You just do your best, and sometimes you really mess up and you feel bad. Even if your heart was in the right place, sometimes it was a terrible move.
Yeah, and I had this reaction too. I know some people have been very like Glimmer took like kind of like evil actions, and I think that's my opinion. It's not really what the show is presenting. I mean, at the very least, it was Glimmer's thrown into this bad situation, forced to be queen. They're Glimmer and Adora influenced negatively by Double Trouble and by Shadow Weaver. And like, there's just all these factors exacerbating them, and they're fighting. And Glimmer does, so my read on what the show is doing. So Glimmer at the end does attempt to activate the weapon. And I think this is supposed to parallel Katra opening the portal last season. Right. They're both, I think Delaney got into this, they're both doing whatever it takes to win. And, And like, and I think that they're going to bond over this now that they're together and prisoners of Ford Prime, and they can help each other hopefully, and also as anyone feeling the Glimmer and Katra ship,
they're obviously gonna date since they're stuck together in the same place still. And God,
that's what I think. I mean,
it
is
how
it works. Stuck together in the same place and then you date.
More likely to date someone who you see all the time, right? So I guess.
Oh my God,
it's true. No, I was feeling the tension between them, and they. So I think they're supposed to parallel each other. We're expecting Dark Glimmer. I was dreading it. I was like, how is this like? Glimmer has like. The show wants us to think that, much like Katra, Glimmer has this like feistiness on her inside, like she has this blind determination or something, however you want to phrase it, that they have similar things going on. The difference is Glimmer's always taken actions to help people, and that's like my big thing with being frustrated with the show sometimes. It's like, Katra takes actions to hurt people, Glimmer takes actions to help people, and so it's like, how are we going to do evil Glimmer? And I do think the show pulled its punches. Like, I think this was not evil Glimmer, and even when she's taking even when she's making decisions that could result in the world being destroyed, it pulls its punches because she's not intending to do that. I pull its punches meaning
I don't think that's pulling punches. I think it would have been so hard for Glimmer to just straight up been evil and for it to have made sense.
And I'm saying I'm not saying that's a bad thing that it's pulling its punches.
I don't think it's pulling its punches. I think it's just it took Glimmer in a position that was like in a gray, baddish area, but that's like honestly what made the most sense for her.
And I don't think agree with that. I agree it makes sense. I think if okay, maybe relative to what, right? They're not doing the full. My point being, they're not doing evil Glimmer because they make clear that Glimmer was not intending to destroy everyone. At some point, she's like, "I was tricked by Light Open," and I think that wasn't really effectively communicated by the episodes. But she does say that, so she does.
Well, I do wonder what the aftermath will be.
And and then
is she gonna get told off like Katra got told off?
Right. So are there any consequences? And she goes to the fright zone and tries to use the weapon, but it's just like she's just risking things, and I feel like the show presents it as like that they're about to lose the war and their life as they know it, and a lot of people would get hurt if they did lose the war, and so she's taking drastic action in order to try to help everyone. Yeah,
I think I think not great though, just because obviously I love Glimmer, but just as this is just again, people disagree with what I'm about to say, but for me, it doesn't matter what your intentions are necessarily based on the outcome of your actions.
Exactly.
And I think that's the problem with this kind of because I don't know how they're going to execute it, because I think Glimmer and Katra will have an interesting relationship, and I'll be interested to see how they influence each other, because I'm like, are they just going to use Glimmer to make Katra good? What's going to happen? Because they are not the same, because I'm not going to say Glimmer's a bad person. Granted, she did bad. I do think using the weapon was a bad thing. That was not a good idea. And it could have destroyed not only the planet, but however many planets around them. And regardless of intentions, that is a bad thing. So that is something I wanted to say, that's just something I think.
I think that's totally fair, because that's honestly how I feel too, Delaney. I think the thing I love about what they did with Glimmer is that you can have the best intentions in the world and still cause irrevocable harm. Not that in both cases doing, but it's the desire doesn't matter as much as the ramifications of the actual action you take.
Haven't been in the one, on the one hand, what Katra did is the reason Horde Prime is here. That's her fault. On the other hand, this is if Glimmer had done what she'd done, they would still be in Despondos.
Yeah.
So at this point, they're equally to blame for the situation.
And I think the other side of what you're saying about that with Glimmer is that I don't think the show presented a clear alternative to her actions.
Correct, yes.
There was no thing she could have done that would have been clearly better. The show likes putting these characters in these painful situations.
Right. Well, and that's the whole thing. They just used the power for 10 minutes before Adora had to save them all, which she was going to have to do anyway because she's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of like hidden information from all the characters, and so it's I think it's hard to make these moral judgments on these actions at the end. But at the very least, Glimmer is taking much more I don't know what the right word for it is, but reckless, like risky.
She risks a lot.
Putting people at risk. She's in terms of like traditional hero, like Adora and Bo are like, we got to go save Entrapta, and Glimmer's like, I don't really care about that right now. And so I think that's like a very anti-normal hero thing. That being said, like if you think like Entrapta versus like trying to save the whole world, and I think the show does present that side of it as well.
Well, also I kind of feel, I'm not sure, like, I don't know, was Glimmer genuine with Scorpia? Like, was this
wondered that
genuine?
It might have been half and half, honestly. Like, she half wanted her to do what she wanted, and she half was maybe offering real friendship, but it came with, like, the cravat of, you gotta get in on that Black Arnet, girl. I need ya. Which is kind of sad.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think she's probably driven mostly by succeeding in her plan.
Which is another thing, like, the Horde took that from, like, that was Scorpia's birthright, and that was something that was taken from her. By that same token, was any of this, it's interesting how much the first ones have interfered with how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, that is interesting. It's another topic. But, so a lot of, much darker, if not fully dark and ambiguous and messy things going on with Glimmer, and especially.
Well, isn't that the true Dimmer?
Yeah, exactly, Dylan. Like,
that was the true Dimmer all along.
Straight up evil for like just no plausible reason.
Like, she doesn't have to be evil. Whatever. She just has to be grumpy and stressed.
She's a hot, sad mess, and that's pretty dark. I agree with you.
Yeah, I
It's a good quote. Throughout the season, this largely manifests Glimmer and Adora fighting and disagreeing about things, and it was intense. They were, I think a lot of us latched onto Glimmadora as like a beacon of happiness in a very dark and messy show, and it's like, this is the happy ship of two people that are happy and love, and then in this season they're just fighting all the time. And I think like the obvious joke is like, well, in this show, people that are fighting are really the ones in love, so this was like the biggest Glimmadora season of them all.
Oh yeah,
like in a show where Quattro is like the main ship, like this is like more romantic.
Who
I think
says that about this show?
Me, I think the show.
Like people ship Quattro because they hate each other.
Well,
right, and so
like, did you meet Zutara? Do you know how shippers work?
Well, I understand that, but just because you think that they have good chemistry doesn't exactly mean that you think they're in love. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't think this is the time to argue against
what is how shipping that
works. I mean, I will say, like, I shipped Scorpia and Katra to a point where it became obvious that Scorpia needed, like, something better.
Yeah.
And I'll support, like, I'm here for the gay, but I'm also just here for Scorpia living her best life. And right now, that doesn't include Katra.
So what do we think of Glimmer and Adora, though, at this season? Is this
I have no thoughts.
Hopefully they can... Okay,
they make me worry. Also, like...
recover their friendship, when they're just in like a very extreme situation.
Fighting. Yeah, it's a very stressed situation.
Yes.
Okay.
I
definitely think that they can get back to their happy place where they were.
Of course, that's what Bo's for. He'll help them.
Oh, that's what Bo's for. Okay.
Oh, Bo's therapy was great mid-fight. That was awesome.
He's like they're in the middle of fighting, and he's like,
can you phrase that more constructively?
Yeah, more constructively. Is there something you want to tell Glimmer?
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so Bo.
But then he does get to express that he's like, it's hard being the like happy-go-lucky guy all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, all of you need therapy. Like what Sam said. That's the theme of this podcast, guys. Everyone needs therapy. Everybody.
Yeah, we've been saying that. And a side note, I am a little upset Bo didn't get like a spotlight episode in here somewhere. Right. It's very ancillary.
Wow, Boys Night
Out. Hello.
I don't know how much that was
there too, unfortunately, but Bo was still there.
Swiftwind was there for a lot of the season.
Yeah,
and
why?
Like that was the main.
We were blessed with his presence.
The main reason why I like season 3 better. The Swiftwind was.
Oh my god, that's such a good point, Sam.
No, it's not really. But okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah. I think like actually kind of Adora and Glimmer are maybe like more likely than before headed to some sort of romantic ending just through because the angst they went through. Like that's what the show needs to have them. But I guess I don't know if we're doing any sort of big romantic thing. But they're a big focus of the season, whereas before they were always kind of second fiddle to the big Katra and Adora.
I'm not trying to rain on your parade. I just don't see it.
Glimmadora? I don't think you ever saw it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to me, Glimmer, the thing is, like, I understand the appeal of shipping Catrador. I get it. Like, we're all...
I mean, I don't necessarily strictly ship that, either.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Glimmer and Adora actually have a relationship.
That's positive, mostly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, like, I get that Katra and Adora grew up together, but, like, I also know what it's like to grow up together, and then you leave, and you're like, I don't actually like you, bye! Like, and, like, Adora's with people who, like, are nice, and they care about her, and, like, they care about the same things, and even, like, the thing was, even when they were fighting, like, they just, like, they said it several times, like, Adora just wants to protect Glimmer, and Glimmer just wants to protect Adora.
Yeah.
Yeah, so their fighting's coming from a place of love. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm confident that they can rekindle next season. Yeah. Just got to get
and they're going to miss each other a lot.
Gotta get them off the ship. I don't know how long that'll take. But,
or get them on the ship? Not sure.
Off the ship onto the ship, the romance ship.
Yeah,
the relationship. Yeah.
I thought you meant physically off
the spaceship. Off the
Since
spaceship.
They're on the spaceship. So I was like, wait a minute.
Okay. Back to we had some Scorpia mentions. Any further thoughts on Scorpia this season? We talked a little bit about her.
What happened to her mothers?
If you missed it, there's a picture of Scorpia with probably her mom's. That is just in a shot. One shot.
We learned something very important. So, like, her granddad sucked, and he was into Hordak. And they gave her away. Yes. They gave away the Garnet and her, and then their whole, like, it sounds like their whole civilization kind of went goodbye. I don't know what happened. But
what was the big deal about the Fright Zone? The Fright Zone was their kingdom.
You know, it's not, and they're not there anymore. And did they just get murdered? Like, what happened to her family?
Yeah, I don't know. That was like really weird. We got this very intriguing picture followed by a whole backstory of Scorpia's family, but we don't get into what the picture was about.
Right.
That was a little frustrating, but maybe we're setting it up for next season. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Scorpia and Emily are adorable.
I really liked Emily.
That was so cute. Also, when Scorpia was like channeling Entrapta's voice, that was so good.
That was good stuff. I liked it.
So good.
Yeah, I was going to resist, but Michelle was like, they were murdered. Speaking of people who were murdered, Mara, in this.
Dead. Like, oh my god.
That was the darkest thing. She was literally murdered.
Did not know I could trigger tears multiple times.
Okay. Oh my god, like, we're watching, like, so first, me and Tanya are like, can we please have a filler episode? And then we see Madame Raz, and we're like, crap, this is not going to be a filler episode. And then, like, the thing was, like, normally I don't want filler, but I was like, I am emotionally, like, I can't handle this. Oh my god, like, what a beautiful narrative for an episode. But, like, oh my god. Like, also, why does Mara get awesome pants?
I know.
Adora gets booty shorts.
So
like,
good.
What's up, guys?
She also gets heels, though.
Yeah, kind of awkward. But like, oh my god,
love Mara's transformation sequence in that
also,
episode.
she's hot. She's hot.
Mara's great.
As Mara and
I loved. We can use this transition too. Also, this other transformation too. I loved this season was Flutterino reacting to Adora's transformation as it was happening.
Was great. Okay, so we're like watching and we're complaining. I'm like. So, you know, I watched Miraculous Ladybug. Like, I'm accustomed. I watched Voltron. That was even
used to repeat transformation sequences.
Yeah, like, it's very annoying. And of course, I'm getting fed up with, like, I'm like, she just becomes She-Ra. It's not even that big of a deal. Like, it's fine. But then, like, when Flutterino was reacting, I was like, okay, this is good. Like, this was necessary. Like, this was extremely important.
It was good. It was yeah. There were like two frustrating indly inserted transformation sequences, but those two
they were a lot quicker.
Really like when they come out of the sky in Boys Night Out, it's like, why didn't you just transform before you showed up? This is stupid.
Because maybe they just have like a mandate to show the transformation sequence.
Well, I told Tanya they have to save money, so.
Yeah, that's the historical reason for including them.
Well,
Sam, what do you think of Flutterina?
All right.
Trouble posing as Flutterina.
Here we
go.
Sam's ready.
Here we go.
Is Flutterina was Flutterina a real person, or was that just
good
like a
question?
concoction?
Here, hey, this is a good question.
She's not real.
Well, my question is, can Double Trouble just make themselves turn into literally whatever, or do they have to be copying somebody?
Well,
I don't think they have to copy someone because they lay out I decided pink.
Did Double Trouble kill a child?
I mean, when we were watching the episode, I thought maybe they had captured the real Flutterina because I'm like, why is the title of the episode Flutterina? What bad thing is going to happen? But I think Double Trouble just made it up. That whole character.
Did nobody in this village care that there was just random child that they'd never seen before?
You'd think they'd kind of be like, we haven't seen that much.
I don't like that. That's my thing about Flutterina. That just
that was just distracting you the whole time.
Yes,
Flutterina.
it was because I was like,
that's a very Sam thing. What are the logistics of this child?
I assume that they just at some point in the middle of the episode there was a real Flutterina and they just captured her somewhere, and then we never went back to her. I was like, I wonder what that's about. And now here we are.
Yeah, okay. The show is unclear about it. I believe the intent is that Flutterina was not real and Double Trouble was created.
You leave a big plot hole. Well, none of the villagers interact with her, but doesn't anybody think it's weird?
And someone should have noticed. Yeah, I agree.
Also, they should have figured out the spy was the one new person.
Yeah, they should have figured that out. Yeah.
Are you serious? Kenny was yelling about this the whole time. The whole time.
I was also thinking about that a lot. Double Trouble was a lot of fun. I think my one gripe would be that they never got a backstory or any sort of personal stuff.
It could be coming. They might.
I would love. Yeah. Do we think Double Trouble is going to be in next season? I'm a little unclear on the show.
That's good.
I think they totally could.
Well, as of right now, they're on quote unquote our side, but also again, it also depends on how much money they're getting. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they have Venmo, guys. They have Venmo. Did you see this?
Did they see this?
They have what?
They have Venmo. They have their tablet and they send that thing back and forth. It's them getting money.
I thought it was just okay.
I don't know if that's.
I thought it was Venmo.
I like that theory. It's Double Trouble impersonating everything, causing hijinks. It was fun.
It was physical pain.
And painful.
They're very good at their job.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my god, well, Bo was I can't even trust my eyes.
Yeah. Okay, rapid fire. King Micah is back, as we thought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm it's King Micah.
How did we know he was coming back? Because we definitely, thought this before, but why was that?
You remember last season when he was in the alternate world, he was and then we cut away and it's I'm alive, is what he was saying.
Yeah, I forgot, but that's so true. Okay, so they did seed it for us.
Also, I like how they're we're gonna rescue you, and your daughter's alive, but she's all grown up. Also, your wife's dead. Hi.
Yeah. We rescued him and didn't do anything with him yet. So it's
they were we had to drop you off. Bye.
Yeah. There was a lot. I have to say, I think it was the best finale. There was too much happening. There was
oh my God,
very chaotic. But Mike is here.
It was okay.
Mike is here now. Any passionate Micah takes heading into next season?
He's hot.
Everyone thinks he's so hot.
Okay.
I can't. A lot of beard. I don't know.
No, he has this macho hotness that I can.
He does.
Appreciate.
I mean, he's buff. I mean,
he is, and he's shorter than Shira.
I don't do beards. I'm a lesbian. I don't do beards. I'm sorry. It's just not a thing.
I mean,
it's not Micah's fault. He was in Beast.
I like that he's short.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why.
Okay.
I don't know. Short people are fun.
Okay.
Queen Angela's coming back next season, right?
Yeah, that's a
Please
good
give Glimmer a happy
I can get behind.
I feel she's definitely not dead. So
she's in between.
She wasn't really dead. And then they transferred dimensions, so you could see her coming back.
Maybe Horde Prime is gonna get her out, and then Glimmer's gonna be oh.
Why would Horde Prime do that?
I don't know, to get on gain leverage. Glimmer or something? I don't know.
The impression you get from Horde Prime is that he's like kind of like playing games because he's being all polite to Glimmer and like we're honored to have you, but also he's like, oh, time to kill you. But then
he's
like,
about to kill her straight up.
Yeah, so as I could see him like, oh, as a token of hospitality, I brought your mom back from the dead, and then but then also like and then I just destroyed a city, and I don't know, something like that. That seems like
I don't know though, because like Angela would be way harder to control than Glimmer.
It would be a mistake. Yeah,
that'd be a mistake
to
do
bring her
in.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, did anyone else like? I really appreciated when Glimmer was like, I'm the daughter of an angelic being and a sorcerer, and I'm like, thank you for just throwing that out there and explaining why she has freaking wings. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
I mean, does that really explain it?
But no. Incarnation, is she gonna grow rings?
Hey, I was also
why is she immortal? Okay. Anyway.
No, I was like, I started yelling. I was like, she has wings, and I was like, oh, they're gone.
Yeah. No, she did. Yeah. Were they like fake wings?
Coronation.
I didn't notice.
She got wings, but then they went away.
They went away.
Entrapped is absent most of the season, but then is rescued on Beast Island at the end. So.
Yeah,
why does Entrapped guy depress me all the time?
Like, I love Entrapped.
Well, we get to the end, and she's like, it's the signal, but I'm like, I'm crying. Like, why you gotta hurt me like this, Entrapped?
I'm not hot on Entrapped, to be honest.
Oh, Entrapped is just really good at delivering horribly cold, hard facts about science, even though
it's true.
They shock and dismay her friends.
Like,
it's not her
she's
fault.
like, it's a really big portal.
Yeah, you don't get to decide. You're going to be channeled with energy, Adora. But she means well.
And she's like, you don't get a choice. And I'm like, oh.
She did save me from the weird one-eyed monkey things on Beast Island. That was nice.
Did you like those monkey things, Michelle?
No, I hated them. I want to kill all
I hated them. Okay.
I love how Bo's like, they have such a cute name. And Adora's like, no.
Yeah, they don't look cute.
Wow, there was like a whole like never-ending story thing happening. There, wasn't there?
I know when Swiftwind got, I was like, oh, this. Oh no, it's like the quicksand all over again.
Yeah.
More Swiftwind mentions. I like it. Entrapped. I think it's like a striking decision to sideline Entrapped for so long, considering she's one of the more standout characters. So I think it's good she's back in the mix.
Gotta get
also
that
so
reunion
prominent in the last
next season. Entrapped Dex come back strong.
Oh my god! Entrapped Hordak will remember everything. Season Entrapped.
Hordak cried real tears when he realized that he did not betray him. He cried actual tears.
I thought Beatrice wasn't on this podcast.
I lost my mind. It was so good.
I don't ship Entrapped Deck, but this is what's happening. Like,
you think it's most likely is if Hordak's getting his memories back, it's when Entrapped shows up.
It's when he's Entrapped.
Michelle's very excited. But Michelle's so excited about it.
I will say that, like, I'm open to shipping Entrapped Deck since apparently Entrapped is not a child. But
Entrapped is in her late 20s canonically.
But again, I do blame the show for not telling us anything. Like, you're not helping me out.
The show does not want to clarify ages. Yeah. Okay, so. Okay, we're ready for the Entrapped Deck in season 4. More on that in every single other podcast to come on.
Yes.
That's all we talk about. Okay, what else we got going? Shadow Weaver.
She's gardening that tweet.
She's gardening.
Where she was like, "What's the most threatening thing we can have her doing?" And it's gardening.
Shadow Weaver this season because, like, honestly, she's like doing a good job being on the good guy side. She's not trying to make Glimmer do anything like overtly sketchy. She tries to talk her out of her plan at the end, and Glimmer just straight up won't listen to her anymore. Like, I kind of love that Shadow Weaver's able to just not be terrible all the time, because it just makes her way more interesting. Like, I think she's trying her best to be on the good guy side right now. I
straight up think she's done. Like, I think she wants to retire. Like, I think this is why she's here.
I'm too old for this. Let me do my gardening.
And then I really loved when Scorpia was like, "Is this a prison?" And she's like, "It wasn't."
Until today.
I think ostensibly, Shadow Weaver is shockingly doing nothing super overtly evil.
Which is like sketchier with her being
that being said, she's still pretty insidiously bad for Glimmer at several points this season. I think it was like shocking that the show went this direction with Shadow Weavers, because in a show of like, oh, this person does bad things, but they're not bad at their core, Shadow Weaver kind of seems like the person that's bad at their core out of everyone. Yeah. She's the one the show hasn't really tried to make sympathetic. But at this season, and so the show often does the unexpected thing, thing this season, Shadow Weaver's not really doing terrible things.
She's gardening.
Oh, she's gardening. She's making tea, ginger root.
Yeah, but I still think I wouldn't say she's like being a good, successfully being on the good side. I think she's still doing some pretty shady things,
Also,
just way less overtly than we thought.
Also, I do like this is like tangentially related to Shadow Weaver, but when Scorpia's like, "Oh, Shadow Weaver's here. This is really not good for Katra." I was like, "Thank you for saying this out loud. Like, thank you. This is good stuff."
No wonder Katra's been acting the way she has.
That was really gonna do a number on her.
Yeah.
So great. I love her.
Scorpia's too aware for the show.
Well, that's why I love her.
I think Scorpia's gonna solve the final conflict. I think she's the smartest one, honestly.
Why isn't this show just called Scorpia and the Princess? It's really.
When's the Scorpia spinoff?
Oh God!
Oh, it's coming.
I will say I don't.
Yeah, who cares about He-Man? Just give me a Scorpia spinoff.
Like, I will say I'm a little dissatisfied with Adora. Like, Adora is just kind of this conduit for learning things in this season. And, like, I like Adora. I think she's a great character, but we don't really do anything with her, like, this season, other than, like, make her sad.
The storytelling with Adora has never been as, like, obvious as the other characters, and I think that's sometimes hard to analyze, I think there's a lot there with Adora this season, but it's going to take some deeper dives.
That's the thing. It's not, like, we can't do it in this podcast.
I really love her in the episode 9 that we keep talking about. I think she's great there. I think she's a huge moment in the finale in not defying and Light Hope's orders.
Like, this is not my destiny, and like that's kind of what we get into. Like, it's a very much an undercurrent in this season of like, and granted, it's also that very typical hero, like, is it me or my destiny, like, or what people are telling me I need to be, and then her. It was kind of a big deal though when they were on Beast Island, and she's like, it wasn't the island, it was me. That's why I can't become She-Ra. But I don't know, like. I kind of feel like Adora got, like, even though Adora and Glimmer were, like, the central conflict in the season, Adora kind of gets, like, sidelined. Like, we just use her to go places. Like...
Yeah, that being said, I still think it was kind of like the biggest Adora season. I don't know, like I'm gonna withhold until we analyze further. That's what I'm gonna say. But there's at least a lot of stuff I liked with Adora at the end that we're doing. And I do think it's really interesting that she is like this very positive relationship at her forefront with Glimmer, and that's like turned on its head this season. And there's a lot of stuff about that, and she doesn't always look super positive either in what they're fighting about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think there's probably some interesting stuff there, but yeah, it's just like Glimmer and Katra are these such flashy characters that it's flashy.
Well, I'm hoping that we'll get more into like the idea that She-Ra isn't the sword, like Adora is She-Ra.
Yes,
so
that's really interesting.
I'm hoping that will be a much like bigger deal.
I think it has to be because Raz points that out. She has a whole thing where she's like, "No, they made the sword, but She-Ra's not a sword. She-Ra's." So the fact that she broke the sword, she's kind of like, "Oh, She-Ra's done now." It's like, girl, no, you're still She-Ra. Yeah. You can be a different.
Yeah. So what does She-Ra look like without the sword? Yeah,
that was the thing. I thought she like that. At first, I thought that's what she was doing, like this rejection of. Like, obviously, like, the control, but then when she's like, She-Ra's over, I was like, no, were you listening to Raz?
Yeah, Raz told you, girl.
Yeah, I think at one point the Light Hope at some point says She-Ra is the sword or something. Like, there's also that.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Everything that Adora knows as She-Ra is the sword and is now gone. So she has to learn what She-Ra meant. Well, that's the thing. First
she has. Before the first one's like.
But as of right now, I think she's right because everything she knows how to do is gone at the moment.
So this is going to be like Korra when she has to go, like book 2 of Korra, where after
is this like when they lost the past lives and
that's why did you have to say that out loud? I'm talking about it.
Remember when that happened?
God, why do you
losing the sword's not like losing the past?
Oh, shut up! Why are you saying
next season? Just going to be season 2 of Korra.
Ew, it's me way better.
Are we going to get Adora alone?
What would be the Makora of this?
Ew, okay, stop.
Did you know that Adora rhymes with Korra? I just realized that.
I feel like people noticed that.
Probably. We talked about Spinnerella and Natasha, but I just again want to highlight their kiss moment.
They dragged them away from a date during the like Clue film noir mysteries episode.
Spinnerella's thick, like dude.
Yeah, girl. She is.
I really like Mer Mysteries, by the way. I think that might be
that's
like
such
my
a good
third favorite of the season.
So it's the funnest episode in the whole
It's
season.
It's very
should
good.
we go around and say our favorite episode?
Oh yeah, did people disagree that anyone have a different? I mean, I guess here best and favorite might be different. So what's everyone's favorite? Yeah, Sam.
I like
Is it
Princess
Scorpio alone?
Scorpia and
Princess
Fractures.
Scorpia, yeah. And what about Fractures?
I don't know, because it's like Scorpio going on the good side. And I don't know, just all the relationship drama and Glimmer and Bo and Adora fighting. I just like it. I like how fractured everything is. It's great.
Fractured, yeah. Okay. Michelle, favorite?
Okay, so Mer Mysteries is the funnest. Princess Scorpia is my favorite, and Hero is like the best, in my opinion.
I like that three-way distinction.
Funnest,
like
favorite, and best. Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think those are different things. Yeah. Delaney.
I think my favorite is Hero, but I do think there was a lot of interesting stuff in Protocol because I'm sorry, like I just really enjoyed obviously I don't think necessarily you should base this on the whole episode, but Kyle, Lonnie, because the thing is the episode starts and I'm like, this is the filler episode. And it's like Light Hope, and then Kyle and Ronnie and them. And then I'm like, oh, this is like bad. Like they're like, this is like a big deal, and like they all almost die because of the acid spore. Like, I thought it was a really interesting episode.
Nice. Yeah, I think Mer Mysteries is really fun. I also want to highlight Boys Night Out, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
Too.
I blocked it out of my memory because of all the Swift Wind and Seahawk.
I guess it was a musical, which I
Embrace
didn't notice
the
until.
Okay, wait. We have to talk
There's
about...
two songs in it.
Okay. Boys Night Out. Mermista's song is like the greatest thing ever.
It's really good.
It's like a rock remix, so it's okay.
So good. Like that was like A+ stuff. Like also her eating ice cream as a mermaid in the bathtub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Okay. The other princesses, we've briefly talked about them. Yeah. Okay.
They're there. Remember Huntara and Perfuma?
Oh yeah.
That was okay. Adora is so gay for Huntara. It's like physically almost hurts to watch.
Frankly,
that's true.
Yeah, we got another one.
Girl with biceps who's like a moth lady.
Moth lady.
That was hot. Yeah, she like hugs Adora, and Adora like kind of blushes looking at her like arm muscles.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was that was in a. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what Adora's into.
I know what you're talking about.
Adora likes buff ladies. I mean, can you blame her?
I don't know. I mean, should we enter Katra then? I don't know.
Well, Katra's more.
That's complicated.
That's complicated.
Dylan.
That's complicated. Okay. I don't know what that means, but what else? So the state of things at the end of the finale, the sword is gone. Hordak has been pseudo killed off with his memories being erased, and Horde Prime is here, and Katra and Glimmer are stuck there. So
it's gonna be like Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah. Can they play Kids of America as we go?
Yes. As we go up into the spaceship.
That'd be good. Yeah. I like getting rid of the sword. I think that's a good mythology.
Yes, I was something I wasn't anticipating, and I think
me neither.
Like, okay, the whole again, it's a shock I know to everyone that we like Avatar. But I just the whole concept, the mythology we get in this season, I'm like, this is awesome, and I'm really excited to it was a shock to me, honestly. The whole She-Ra belongs to Etheria. She-Ra was here long before the first ones, and then but they just control She-Ra. So
how does that work? Yeah,
I really want to know what that means next season. What the original She-Ra is. I also was confused because they said the first ones were the first people on Etheria, but I'm like,
wrong.
I was unclear if that was wrong or if they were, but there were creatures there before. And
that's what makes me wonder.
I don't think they were the first ones. I don't think they were literally the first ones in Etheria. I think
I also thought that, but then they say it at some point.
Took a ship to Etheria to study magic, and that's how she met Raz. Yeah. But so they didn't grow up there.
Who's Raz? Yeah, is she like
I think it's the whole that colonial mindset. Is that whole we were the first to settle, and it's
I thought they were commenting on colonialism. Yeah, that's what I thought they were doing.
The first ones are all technology, and the Etherians are all magic.
Yeah.
They have separate lanes, but they can go together.
So I think the show needs to get into that more, but at the same time, we're really resetting things with Horde Prime being here. So
yeah, that's something I was like, I thought it was going to happen earlier, so I thought it was kind of like, wow.
Last season, it's like Horde Prime's here, and then it's like, it takes a full season for Murray to get
and
here.
so this I'm a little concerned.
It's fair, they're in an empty dimension.
Like, we have 13 episodes, I'm a little concerned. Like,
I'm excited.
oh my God.
It seems like there's a lot to do with.
I guess the universe will just be reset, and we'll just have to deal with it.
Well, it's weird though, because like, we're basically Voltron now. Like, we live on a planet, there aren't stars, we didn't even know there were other planets, to we have to save the universe now from Horde Prime. So they're like, ooh, this got into a lot real fast.
Yeah, the stakes have never been higher. Horde Prime is here to kill everyone. So yeah, are they going to just dismantle a big empire in the galaxy? Like, are they?
Why not? Horde Prime is the big empire in the galaxy.
Isn't that what Star Wars
is
about?
Honestly, though, I'm
Star
a
Wars
little.
now.
Even if they get rid of Horde Prime, it seems like the first ones themselves were kind of a colonialist force, and we gotta get rid of them maybe too.
Well, I think they're gone.
This season claims that the first ones are gone. I anticipate a twist.
They got Adora. They exist somewhere very far away, but I don't know if they're
couldn't they still be there? How do we know if they're?
I'm not convinced Adora is actually like an OG first one. I think she is, like she said, she's a descendant of the first ones.
That's another twist. They don't. Light Hope took Adora to Etheria is another thing that gets.
Okay, that would make me feel better because they sounded like real bad news bears. I don't want any first ones going around stealing people's magic to make bomb planets. That's sketch.
Are the first ones the diamonds?
What if the first ones are Horde?
That would be interesting.
Yeah, maybe Horde Prime was the first one.
Well, that makes me wonder, especially since they were like he's cloned himself, and then also it was really interesting where they were like, we created you. And we've created this weapon to destroy our enemies.
Yeah.
And it's like, was it the Horde or was it whoever was trying to stop?
What are their enemies? We don't know. Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So there's interesting things to come potentially with the show's mythology. That being said, I think there's some interesting mythology questions. I'm so much more interested in the characters, where we're going. Where are we ultimately going with Katra? Where are we ultimately going with Glimmer and Adora? Any relationships?
Who will be gay?
Scorpia,
Who will be the most gay? That's the real question.
Yay.
Maybe the real gay was the friends we made along the way.
I mean, friendship is
that could not be truer in this show.
Yeah,
right?
you're totally right on the moment.
That is a summary of the show.
And friends made along the way is the gayest thing.
Yeah, isn't that what being gay is all about, really?
I think She-Ra says yes. She-Ra says it. Yes, it is.
She-Ra says yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michelle
is
yes, Dylan.
Give us final thoughts.
So this is like a lingering thought, but in the last episode when I was watching all the princesses be taken over by this powerful force, and She-Ra, I don't know, it kind of felt like is it maybe subtextual that maybe there's a reason why these are all princesses who are being used as vessels for this power that they're not allowed to channel, and She-Ra is also helpless to being used as a machine, and this statement of She-Ra being I'm not a machine, I'm gonna forge my own destiny, a cool feminist thing in of itself. Because, there's something about just, female autonomy that was really speaking to me in that moment. And, because, why are the princesses, why are they part of this? Why is this all for power? Why can they not stop it when it starts? Why is that something that can be used against their will? And, why is it a thing that's a system set up without their acknowledgement before they were even born? I think it's very interesting that it's something that is now broken by She-Ra. It feels like an interesting subtextual statement. I really like it. And again, in the hands of another crew, this might not have read this way, and I really like that it's happening. So just food for thought.
I think that's great commentary on that at the end there. Yeah, I definitely had the thought of this is because I don't necessarily love when characters' agencies are taken away, but this was an overcoming of that in the finale by She-Ra, and I thought she made a lot of very blatant statements, I think, that were in that direction. So yeah, I think that's a great read on that last episode. Delaney, any inspired commentary to bring out at the end here?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, no, okay. Anything else?
Why does this show have to hurt me? Like, physically?
Okay, back to the
soul.
When will you recover?
Never.
Okay, no.
By next season, I guess.
Maybe next season, yeah. We'll see when that is.
Doubtful.
Sam, final thoughts.
I just really like that the show's about friendship and like interpersonal relationships between people. I know there's like the magic and the tech and the mythology part of it, but at its core, it's just a show about relationships, and that's something I really appreciate. And you don't really get to see much of that in fantasy, you know? Because always, let's do the quest and have adventures and not care about our feelings. But She-Ra cares about feelings a lot, and I like that.
I love that point. That I agree. Fantasy a lot is deprived of these types of in-depth character relationships and just character studies. Yeah, She-Ra's a lot more interested in that than the normal fantasy show. Maybe that's a big reason why it connects with a lot of us so much.
Yeah, because we're all people with emotions.
So we grab onto the character stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, we just we like that kind of thing.
Well, and they're not, and it's not that clean cut like we were talking about.
Exactly.
It's messy. Like, this is like real life. Things aren't easy.
Certainly is messy. Yeah. Okay. So, I thought there was a lot of really interesting things we got into here, and I'm just very excited for season 5. Although it might not be for a while.
Guess.
So we'll see. But She-Ra's ending next year. That's exciting, right? Like, we're gonna get to see.
Wow, it just started.
It's more like depressing. It's not exciting. It's depressing.
Look, let's be optimistic about it. We get to see the ending and all these. And then Noelle's like, "Oh, there's all my favorite episodes are in the last season."
I am excited.
Really?
It's a planned ending.
I think I read her saying that today.
Like, I'm happy that this is like they planned to end here, and it wasn't like we're canceling you.
Oh my god, I hope after this they give Noelle her own show with her own characters. Just like, can you imagine? It would be so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think Noelle's like handled it great adapting the new property, but I do think the show is like one of its detriments is that it's like kind of like beholden to the old show. So I think like it would be amazing if she could do an original property.
Yes.
Make everybody gay.
I mean, she already has. That seems to be her mantra.
She did, yes.
I support her. Yeah.
Make everyone gay. She already has.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully we will be having further podcasts discussing the season to come. Although I say 13 episodes is a lot. So look out for that at overlyanimated.com. Subscribe to us on your podcast app or on youtube.com/overlyanimated to not miss our future podcasts. Come talk about the show with us on our Discord at overlyanimated.com/Discord. And consider supporting us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Connie, aka Veronica Kukumanga, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Beatrice, Hugh, Michael, and Needle. I'm excited for AMA with Noelle and Jacob tomorrow on the Reddit. Yeah.
What time?
To 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific.
Wow.
Yeah. Only plugging because me and Alex are on the Reddit, but
lucky.
Yeah. I don't know, lucky.
Oh wait, no, like mods just like exist there sometimes.
Just gotta mod it to get rid of all the bad posts.
Okay.
People get rid of all the spoilers. Very hard to handle that. But yeah. Oh look, 2 more reports since last time. That's fun. Okay. Let us. Yeah. So if you're listening, you probably already. It's probably AMA probably already happened. Our Princess's Power when you're listening to this. And let us know what you thought. Comments, YouTube, overlyanimated.com. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.